Hey, we'll get started. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for joining us. We wanted to have a quick meeting. John kind of goofed that up. It'll have to be even quicker because the buck that we've been looking at actually walked past this or ran past the stand today. So that 10-pointer now needs to get prepped for the freezer for to eat the rest of the year for John. So we'll get started. Zach, we'll start with you if you want to, share your screen. Zach Snow, for those of you who don't know, NSSF actually started SSSF. Originally, they started a shotgun program, then they raised money from the industry and started the Scholastic Shooting Sports Foundation and turned the shotgun program over to us. And then it was after that that we added SPP, which later became SASP. So Zach has actually been involved with our program before I was. So it was not a big choice for us when NSSF reached out and said, "Hey, we want to partner with you on first shots. We found some ways that we can help your teams and also grow, the people in the shooting sports, which is good for the industry and good for all of us." So with all of that, Zach, I will turn it over to you and you can explain to everybody how they can raise some funds and things with first shots.
Great. Well, thank you very much. Thank you for the opportunity. Yeah, as Rick said, I've been with National Shooting Sports Foundation now for 22 years and started in a similar role to Rick, where I was working on running the Scholastic Clay Target program, which evolved into Little League, and here we are. And you guys have grown it. Now we've got action shooting program as well. So earlier this year, Rick and I spoke, and we saw this to be a unique opportunity, and essentially, we're here to help you grow your teams and grow our sports. Before I dive in, just a little background on National Shooting Sports Foundation. We are the Firearm Industry Trade Association. We're a member-based organization that's made up of manufacturers, firearm retailers, shooting ranges, shooting sports organizations, and media nationwide. Our mission is to promote, protect, and preserve hunting and the shooting sports, and we do this through a variety of different ways. By advocating to safeguard our industry against hostile legislation and regulations, through live events and online offerings where we create a variety of different education to help protect and grow our industry, by developing programs to increase participation, and that's what I'm here to talk to you all about today, and by communicating efforts that promote safe, responsible gun ownership. Now, why do most people join? Because they support the mission and they want to stay in business and grow their businesses. Just a couple quick resources to run through here. These are essentially NSSF efforts that are all geared towards increasing participation. Let's Go Hunting and Let's Go Shooting are clearinghouse websites and a call to action. These websites are where people can go to get started in the shooting sports and the hunting spaces, and really take it all the way up to competitive levels. Our Plus One movement is a campaign, national initiative really to inspire gun owners, hunters, and target shooters to take the pledge to introduce someone new. And if we all take that pledge, which you all are doing each and every day, thank you, we will secure the future of hunting and shooting sports for generations to come. National Shooting Sports Month is our month-long celebration of shooting sports in August. This coming year will be our 10th anniversary. So we've got some big things planned, and perhaps that's where first shots might fit in for you guys. And lastly, first shots. So about first shot. We developed First Shots over 15 years ago to kind of be an intro program in a box. And over the years, it's evolved. We rolled out a 2.0 version. And within that 2.0 version, we enhanced the curriculums. And now we're seeing hosts use it in a variety of different ways, not just to introduce new people, but it can serve as a great refresher program or an activator tool to really get new gun owners started in the shooting sports. Through this program, we're able to provide awesome support to all of our hosts, thanks to the industry's support. And I'll be talking on those in a little bit. We have a built-in reward system, which I'll also be talking to you all about, and a new monetary incentive. So now, before I dive into kind of how you guys can use the program, just kind of want to recap the support resources that we have available to you. That for anybody that does want to host an experience, we outfit our hosts with handbooks, safety brochures, eye and ear protection, paper targets for those that wish to shoot on paper. However, if you got the steel, let it ring. Rimfire ammunition. We have monetary support to help cover the cost of clay targets and shotgun ammo. I'm not sure if we have any shotgun coaches on today. But essentially we provide $100 for every 10 students to help offset the ammo and target cost there. We have a reward coupon system. So participants that complete an online survey are going to get a $25 reward coupon that they can use in the SSF store. They can use this to become a member of the team, a coach of the team, or purchase any other products in there. And then we actually are reimbursing SSSF for those coupons that are redeemed. And then lastly, the incentive that is a fund that goes directly to the teams is a $15 per participant. So it's capped at 100 participants. So teams can generate up to $1,500 of additional funds through this incentive that NSSF is extending. Now, I say additional funds because, some of you might choose to do your intro offerings or outreach efforts for free. Others might choose to do them for a nominal cost. That's totally up to you. I'll share some ideas that come to mind in a moment on how it could possibly be incorporated into a fundraiser event. All righty. Next up, additional resources that we have for you all are right through. We have a digital resource portal called the First Shots portal. In here, you're going to find a variety of digital assets, including flyer templates for posting in your communities. We've got social media ads, a variety of other different tools to help you guys be successful in hosting these events and growing your programs. So, as I mentioned, ways to use First Shots. For teams, I see kind of three main areas. The recruitment tool. This is a way that you guys can grow your teams for those looking to grow. A starting point could be simply having current team members invite a friend or other family members to come on out. The community outreach tool. So I'm not sure what your home ranges are doing in the form of community outreach, but I know many might not be doing anything. So perhaps there's an opportunity for you to support your home range and do a community relations builder that's not only serving your team, but your home range and helping to get more people acquainted with the venue that they have in their community to enjoy the shooting sports. And lastly, the fundraising effort. So for those that do fundraising efforts that involve a sporting clays event or some type of shooting event, think about how you can incorporate the First Shots component in that to be really the starting point for those that might be first timers coming out to the range. This can be that orientation before they go through the full experience in the day. So these are really just some of the things that came to my mind and how you guys can use the program. I don't know if now is the time for questions, but I'm happy to answer any questions you have. My contact information is going to be coming up in a minute. As I mentioned a moment ago, that this coming August is going to be our 10-year celebration of National Shooting Sports Month. And it just also coincides with America 250. So we're planning to do some things to kind of bring those celebrations together. And, if your seasons have concluded and you're wanting to do kind of a end of the year wrap-up event, here's a way you can celebrate Shooting Sports Month and grow the shooting sports by incorporating that First Shots event right into your August efforts. In addition to the support materials, we also do provide our Shooting Sports Month hosts with different giveaway items like hats and shooter towels and other tools like that. So this program, the last few years, NSSF has been on a big mission to continue to grow participation in shooting sports. And First Shots is one of those main channels that we look to do this through. In our current fiscal year, which ends at the end of March, we have a goal of introducing 25,000 people through First Shots experiences. So this is my challenge to all you guys. We put a challenge out to our partner organizations, the Race to 1,000. So for whichever partner organization introduces 1,000 people through First Shots experiences, we're going to hire a production team to come on out and do a promotional video to highlight the organization and the teams that are making the effort, or the chapters that are making the effort in hosting First Shots event and growing our sports. So really that concludes my little deck today. As it relates to getting started, starts with really just identifying dates that you'd like to host an event. And like I said, if you have some events that are already planned for the coming year, think about how you can integrate First Shots into that. We are not super sticklers on you needing to run through the handbook entirely or go through a PowerPoint deck. Frankly, we know many venues don't really have an indoor infrastructure to do a PowerPoint or a classroom setting. And so if your host range is a circumstance like that, we're totally okay with you doing it all out in the field and doing more of a streamlined first shots, try it out experience. So again, if you're wanting to get signed on, you're just going to want to complete the submission form with as much details as you have. The one thing we ask is that you include SSSF and the team name in the additional information box so that we can just flag that in our system. And as mentioned, if additional edits need to be made as we progress through the year, we can make those edits to those event forms. Then lastly, really, I've included a link here to the First Shots portal. So you can go in there and take a look at all the different assets that we have. I'd encourage you to, in addition to downloading the PowerPoint, if you are going to choose to use some of that or all of it, download that to get familiarized with it. See what you like, what you don't like. We want it to conform to your teaching styles. And then take a look at the event planning checklist and the instructor guides. These were two tools that we created through the feedback from our power hosts, as I like to refer to some of our ranges that host these events at least once, if not twice a month. And so that really just gives you some ideas on how you can make your event as successful as possible. And then lastly, promoting. Word of mouth has been one of the greatest success stories of our First Shots hosts and how they fill their seats. But again, if you have relationships with organizations or businesses in your community, create your custom flyer using that template that we have and go ahead and post them in local businesses. So again, here's my contact information, as well as Ann Gamoff, who works with me on the program. She'll be your point of contact when it comes to shipping out the support materials prior to events and getting your events listed on our website, which we also are boosting events on Facebook. So that's going to be another way that we're going to bring attention to your events. And with that, I don't know if now is time for questions, Rick, or if we want to do that another time.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. If there's anybody who has questions, we can answer those. I just have one. I'll explain to everyone how it's working on our side. Is that that gift certificate that you get through the email, you can use it in the online store, the SSSF online store, to buy any of the merchandise. And then additionally, to go along with that, there is a thing on there that says coach or athlete registration, and you can take that money then and apply it there. It'll look like an item you're buying. Take that receipt, give it to the team, the local team that you're registering for, and then the team, if you can just collect those, scan them, and send them to Brad Fleury on our staff, or you can send them to me. And what we'll do is once a month, we'll cut a check to the team for any of those that you've collected so that you don't have to wait for it. And then quarterly, we get reimbursed from NSSF. So we're just going to get it to the teams right away so you guys aren't sitting looking for that money. But it gives somebody, if they're new and they want to take the class and then join the team, gives them that opportunity. So we thought that was kind of a win-win.
Yeah, and you just reminded me of one detail that just to let everybody know that once you do host an event and you're in our system, we are going to then send an email to you through a solution called Prop Fuel to get feedback from you on how many students or did you have in your First Shots experience. That is a critical piece, not only for us accounting for the total number of people we put through First Shots experiences, but when it comes to paying you the incentive funds that we have available for your team. And then those incentive funds, teams can do whatever how you can use them however you see fit. If you want to put them into your endowment counts, that's fine. If you want to use it for some immediate needs, that's fine as well. Totally up to you.
Anybody have any questions for Zach? If you can, just kind of type those into the questions and we'll try to answer those. If there isn't any, then we'll move on. But if you have any, go ahead. Morgan, you have your hand up. If you can just uh, see if I can. John, do you know how to let somebody open someone's mic if they have their hand up? Oh, wrong button. Okay. Yes, Dan, correct. It's any age. So it could be youth, it could be adults. We're just trying to get people introduced to the shooting sports who are not currently doing that, and it gives them a chance to get out. So if you want to do it at the club and have adults there too, you can do that. Alex, I'm not sure your question. As far as service academies, how do I get involved with the regiment and school support? I'm not sure how to answer that one. Someone asked about the link to it. It'll be on this video, but we've sent it out once already. And my thought was after that, this meeting, we would have our marketing person resend out the email that announced our partnership with NSSF for First Shots. So you'll have the new, or you'll have it in front of you again, just to remind everybody. Anything else? If not, we're gonna move on. Thank you, Zach. Um,
Yes, thank you.
the next was Midway USA Foundation was invited. Jay already had another meeting. Jay McClatchy had another meeting, so he couldn't join us. Just the one thing from their side, I don't know if everybody has seen the $50 calendar for the year that your team can sell. People put in your number. They can order them, give them away as Christmas presents, do whatever. And then every week there's a gun. So it's $50 for 52 chances to win a gun during the year. And then Shield ships those guns. I believe you pay the shipping on it, but that $50 goes into your Midway account and then it's matched by Midway for the teams. So every calendar that's sold, you get $100 in your Midway account. And from what I heard, they still have half of those calendars left. There's about 2,500. I was in a meeting the other day. They said it was right around 3,000. We were just in Missouri. I think it's right around 2,500 still out there. So it's a great way for you to do that if you go to Midway Foundation's page, and it's right up on, I think it's on the landing page there. But great way for you to raise money for your team without any work to get money in your endowments. We will go right into the handbook then, maybe. All right, just bear with me a second here. Didn't want to let me do it. Is it up there for everybody to see now? Okay. So the handbook's been done a little bit thanks to our handbook committee that has overlooked it. Our staff took a stab at it first. We've taken throughout the year the suggestions people have made, and we've thrown them into the file, and then we made changes. And then from there, we sent it out to a committee that we have that's mostly state advisors on it. Everybody's coaches, and I think most of them are state advisors, but we have college and non and high school and other coaches on that committee so that we can review it. So I'm just going to go through and I will hit the changes. The first you're going to find changes are in red. We tried our best. I'm pretty sure we got them all in red, but there is a disclaimer in here that says if I miss one, I apologize. But um, we uh we think we have them all in red. We added the ultimate division, and I'll go more into that when we get to the disciplines. But basically that's the new race gun division. And we're going to go a little bit because this first section didn't get anything. Okay, so it's going to take us into team registration. Um, when athletes reach the age of 18, we're still working on it with our IT provider to try to get the shot system to do it automatically. But in the meantime, we need your help. When an athlete turns 18 years of age, they're required to complete and sign a new athlete consent and waiver form. To do that, if you just send an email to Chris, she'll uncheck it and then send it out for that person. And then that athlete can then sign the new form and it goes in. Our concern is you can't give consent to do something as a parent to someone who's an adult. And if you're an adult, you can't have consented to it when you were a minor. You need to do it as an adult. So we're working on cleaning that up. But if you have athletes that previously signed the waiver, we'll resubmit it so that we can get that taken care of. Couple that are in the rules governing all. First one is all SASP state and regional events must have safety zones roped off at height to prevent anyone from walking downrange. That's that safety tape you see at nationals, you see at most events. We thought everyone was using it, and then it was brought to our attention that some events were being run without safety lines, and that's just from us from an insurance standpoint. You can do whatever you want in practice as long as you're keeping an eye on your athletes to make sure no one's going down range. But if you're running an event with people running around and people watching and things like that, we want to make sure that that is taped off, including the left side of the table so that no one can walk down range, that they can only, or the right side of the table, so that they can only go to the left side of the table to go out. We just want to make sure that that is being taken care of. All SASP regional and national matches will utilize an on-deck circle this year. We talked about it at nationals for those of you that are there. Not more than 6 feet behind the center of the safety zone, so behind the tent. The next athlete to compete must be in the circle with their case firearm, required number of loaded magazines before the time the competing athlete starts their fourth run or string. If not, the on-deck athlete will receive a procedural penalty. We used it at state match in Wisconsin. We used it at nationals, and it did speed things up. It prevents all of that, having people running around, oh, where's my gun? Where's my magazine? If you're there, and we're not making them stand there long. I mean, it's just before the last person finished. And then the on-deck circle for state matches, we're going to leave that up to the state advisors, whether or not you want to utilize it at yours or not. We're not pushing that on the state matches. Some of those are smaller and maybe they don't want to use it. What? There currently is not covered in inclement weather. So if teams want to put their tent over it or something over it, it would be no different than when they're standing there waiting to go up to shoot. Otherwise, that's up to a team if they want to pull a tent or something up there. The next one is all brass and nets and on the ground at regional and national matches are property of the Scholastic Action Shooting Program. I kind of thought that was understood that when we put nets out at the nationals, that we collect that brass, we take it in, we get the money from it, and it goes in the scholarship fund into our scholarship endowment for SASP. And then I found out at nationals when I realized we didn't have as much brass that a team came through the last weekend and emptied our nets into their buckets and took all of the brass with them. So just so there's no confusion on that, it is now in the rule book. The live rounds, you can pick up your live rounds, you can do any of that, but if the brass is going there, we bought and put out those nets so that we could collect it and keep it out of the rocks and things so that we could get money back and put it in the scholarship fund. So we would appreciate your assistance with that. Just a clarification, there was some confusion at our college nationals. We do not currently allow suppressors on firearms. The reason for that currently is a timer issue. The timers will pick it up, but it doesn't pick it up as well when it's suppressed, and people turn up the timer. If you turn the timers that we currently using up over 6, I believe it is, it automatically is programmed in that it does not pick up those fast first shots that our athletes are so quick at getting on target. There is a delay built in there for echoes and things, so it's put in there and it's not picking up the first shots. So that's why currently, unless we find a way around it, we are not going to have suppressed firearms. We added this discipline to the double single action because in the center fire, because it's not going to match some of the other ones now. So we just added that to each of the ones that you cannot use them in with the ultimate division. 1911, we added the suppressor. No, 1911 this year is that last year for 2011s, right? Do we take it out, John? Yeah, this is the last year for 2011s. So we have the new Ultimate Division, which is where the 2011s can go, but we didn't want to change this for anybody that bought it to use for excuse me, for 1911 Division. So we're not this year you could technically shoot Ultimate and you could shoot 1911 with a 2011. You could do 2 entries technically this year and this year only with the same firearm if it's a 2011. Rimfire, again, the suppressors. We added suppressors in centerfire optic. And didn't think this was an issue, but we did have some concern expressed to us that you could not use an optic in a discipline that's an optic division. So we added to every rule that if it's an optics division, you're required to use an optic in that division. We had some questions about it at nationals. Centerfire revolver. Clearing firearm before casing or benching. When the safety officer is given the athlete the command hammer down, the athlete will aim at a target and press the trigger to release the hammer, or this time hammer because there isn't a striker on them, but to release it, we added that in there. There was questions on whether or not you had to go hammer down. We've met with talked to all of our sponsors who are the big revolver companies, and they all said there is no damage caused by dry firing a revolver. So for that reason, we wanted to keep the commands the same. So all center fire will be hammered down, all rim fire will be chamber indicator inserted. There was questions about the chamber indicator because some were concerned putting a chamber indicator through a revolver and then leaving it open for concerns that pushing down, if the athlete pushes down on it, could cause damage to the yoke. So we have said that if you want to stick it through the next cylinder ready to fire, it's still going to stop the gun from being able to press the trigger and have it work. You can do that, putting it through the cylinder. We're just, for the rim fire, we're just trying to keep them both we have a hard enough time with our volunteers and commands trying to get them to be correct and get them right every time. We didn't want different commands for different disciplines. The rimfire handgun optics discipline, again, use of an optic is required. Suppressors are not permitted. And then we added the new centerfire handgun ultimate discipline, which John still wants to put $3 signs after because it could be the arms race and be the expensive guns. But there's not a lot of rules for it. Athletes must participate in a rimfire or iron, centerfire, iron before they can have it. So that's the same rule as before, that you must shoot an iron. And this would probably be a good place to let you know that originally earlier where it had in the rule book, we did remove the wording that said you could only shoot rimfire iron or centerfire iron. I asked the question at nationals at the award ceremony. I didn't want to do it. John pushed me and thinks that we should allow you to be able to shoot both. So we've removed that now. So you can actually now shoot an additional discipline if you wish. You can shoot both rimfire iron and centerfire iron in the same match. And you still have to shoot one of those two though before you can shoot the 1911 or this ultimate. Disconnection of any or disabling of any safety device on any gun is not allowed. Obviously, safety is our first thing. Ammunition, 9mm, 40, 45, 38 special may be used. Still using our standard minimum power factor on that. And then no 380 ammo. And when you look at some of the other groups that have it, they put case length in there to prevent you from shooting a 380. We just don't want the 380s used in it. There's all kinds of questions about safety and other things and of doing it and, barely making power factor. So we want to, we're just not going to allow any 380 ammunition. Laser assisted sighting systems are prohibited, no suppressors. And then negligent discharge at a match will result in disqualification from the discipline for the remainder of the season. The reason we went from single action, no single action guns was because we had multiple times, I think it was 6, that we had negligent discharges where younger kids, I think it mainly were shooting single action guns, and when they were trying to drop hammers, they were getting not like sticking their thumbnail or something under it, and we had negligent discharges. So that's in there just if you can't handle the race gun and you have a negligent discharge, you just won't shoot it the rest of the year. So that's why that is there.
2 questions in here. 38 super.
Yes. It's in there. It says 38. Oh, no, 38 super. Good question. Yes. Yes, it's 38's fine. And we may go back and just add that then in here. I don't think I know of a reason why we wouldn't want to do that. So before we post it, we can add 38 super. Rules committee, if anybody thinks of a reason that we shouldn't allow it, let me know. But I think we're okay there. Is there another question, John?
One back about the hammer down on the revolver. Just how does that prove that it's clear?
When you show a revolver, they're going to show that it's clear. You're going to be able to see that it's the hard part of looking at guns to see if they're clear is if there's something in the chamber. Since you don't chamber it in a revolver and it's in that cylinder that flips out and makes it really easy to see in there, even in the dark under of a tent, the safety officer and the athlete should be able to see that there's nothing in it. And then by putting it through the outside like that, it's preventing it from going to the next, to being able, you can't pull the trigger because it's going to be in the way. I prefer it in the chamber, but I understand the concern about the yoke. I'm so old. When I started on the police department, I carried a revolver. I was the Smith & Wesson armorer for our revolvers, so I know that if someone's got something sticking in there and they push down on it, you could cause damage to a firearm. Probably not going to happen, but could.
Ultimate Division, 2 questions. Comps and optics allowed.
Yes. And our sponsors will like that. You want to buy all their toys. Yes, the only rules are those listed there. So if I don't say it, you're good. Until I find out something I missed. But we've reached out to a whole bunch of people that shoot the other sports, the USPSAs, the IDPAs, and I think we're good on where we are here on the rules. Okay, rimfire rifle for the optics division. you have to use an optic. It's required to be used. And it says use of an optic. So if we've heard some people say, well, we'll just have an optic on it and we'll still use our iron sights. If that optic isn't on, you're not using an optic, and that would be a disqualification. PCC suppressors, we added it there to be consistent with the others. Scoring. There's been confusion of what can be in the case with the gun, what can't be in the case with the gun. If there's we had to address a year ago that a loaded magazine in the gun is a problem because people said, well, it wasn't in the chamber, so it's not a loaded firearm. We don't want that gun having any rounds with it or in it. So no live ammunition may be in the same compartment as the firearm. And violations will result as a penalty. Now, I know that's going to cause an issue for some athletes, but this is going to be a training issue, and a good time to train them now is either zip up that case so that it's not left open, so that your final round, when you rack it out, you don't have it land in your case, or move the case to the other side so that it won't go in there. But just make sure you're not putting any live rounds in with the firearm. If it's multiple compartments, we understand that, but the zipper compartment where the gun is cannot have any ammunition in it. Ties. We realized that we had in and out in here, but at some matches, in and out may not be used. So it's in and out. We had added 5 for 5, V for V. We added pop quiz. That is where we break all ties. So if a tie occurs, we go back and we look at in and out. We use the stage score for the squad, used as a tiebreaker. If that does not break it, then we look at the fastest single run for that stage will be the tiebreaker. And if we need to, we'll go to second, third, and fourth. The chance of having every athlete shoot the exact same time down to the 100th of a second, I don't think we need one after that. But we've discussed if for some reason it was still a tie, we could pick another stage and do the same thing. But I don't see the numbers ever coming that 4 athletes each shot the exact same times to come up with the exact same score. That would be amazing if it did. The commands, 2 things within the commands. We deleted a part out of this that was in contradiction, and thank you for the parent who made me aware of it. It said in there that for any reason you could ask for a restart. If you aren't ready, you need to say not ready. And there can't be just any reason. Now, if there's a good reason of, hey, I didn't start shooting because I saw someone down range, I saw anything safety, those are reasons not to start shoot on the beep. But other than that, we removed that section that just said for any reason. There needs to be an articulable reason why you did not start after you didn't say you weren't ready. We also added shooter. It can be are you ready or shooter ready, and that is because that used to be one of the other disciplines commands was shooter ready. We have a lot of safety officers, coaches who we hear it all the time, but then we get to an event and someone complains because they are correct. It doesn't specifically say shooter ready. It says are you ready in the book. So if either of those two are acceptable, they're kids. They should be able to adjust to slight things. And I don't think we're a youth development program if we're making them have to hear the exact same thing to be able to function, because that's not real life. Change the address to our address in Kentucky now, since hopefully that Wisconsin house I will sell soon. And we don't want anything that you do ship there going to the wrong address. The ultimate division was added to the state championships. And again, that's up to the state advisors who are running the match, or whoever's running the state match, if there isn't a state advisor in that state, to decide what they have space for and what opportunities you have to fire. We have some that do limit. They're just range space. They don't have enough space. They have to limit what they allow. Just to clarify the event scheduling for the state match. It must be before, we had in there before the day after the third Sunday in June, which is normally Father's Day, but actually I don't think is this year. Failure to hold the championship by that date will disqualify the team for participation in the all-state competition at nationals. That's in there because we have to order the shirts. They complain when I send them even that late in June, the order over, but they're really good to us because they get a lot of business through our teams, buying team shirts and things through them, and through SCTP also. So they allow me to be that late, but anything after that, I would have to order shirts, either guess at sizes or go back later and order a shirt, which is significantly more expensive without the quantity discount. So we just ask that everyone please do that. If you can't make it work, that's great. You can still come and shoot at nationals, just your team won't be your state won't be part of the all-state competition.
I missed a question. If an optic fails during a string and the athlete finishes the stage without an optic, are they disqualified?
No, if it fails, that is during it, that's just part of life. Batteries do die. We understand that. Finish it the best you can. Kind of like when the optics fell off of some centerfire guns at college nationals, just finish the best you can. And then fix the gun. We'll let you step off the line, somebody else move up, if it has to take a while to fix it. But don't use that as the excuse every time why you didn't have it on. We will check to make sure the battery works. All state. I had a board member who's a coach in our program state that every year their athletes get selected for all state, but they weren't exactly sure how it was. So we've done our best attempt to explain it here. John wrote it up. We made some changes after the review committee looked at it. But all state is two teams that represent the state. One is the pistol team. It's comprised of 4 athletes. So you can't, even if you, especially now with rimfire and centerfire, if you shoot both, you can't be the rimfire rep and the centerfire rep on the team. And it'll go in a little further how we do that, but it takes 4 separate athletes to be on the squad. If your state does not have centerfire, then we give you the rookie time of a ghost to fill in there, but we all know you're not going to win with that. But you can still participate and have an all-state partial team. But we do have some states that don't have any centerfire athletes. On rifle, it's also 4 athletes, same thing. The 2 fastest athletes in iron or optic, and then the 2 fastest in PCC. So again, rimfire, centerfire. SASP competitors for that are decided by the national staff following the below guidelines. All state teams, male and female, are considered together. We don't have a male team and a female team. Collegiate athletes are not considered on an all state since our national championship is not their national championship. That's why we call it Summer Blast for the colleges. They have their own national championship in March. Athletes may only occupy 1 slot for pistol, 1 slot for rifle, and then are considered 4 athlete squads. So an athlete cannot be on a squad twice, which I've explained. Athletes must be registered for the national championship and compete in the division they represent to maintain their all-state slot. Now, that was a case of where we had someone shoot centerfire and one in centerfire, but then came the nationals and we're not going to shoot centerfire, they're going to shoot rimfire. That's fine, you can do that, but you lose your slot, and we went to the next fastest centerfire shooter to fill that, because obviously we wouldn't have a score to fill in for this all-state team to find out who those winners were. In the event that an all-state representative is not registered for the national championships, the next fastest athlete will be chosen to represent, not on their team, not anything, the next fastest at the state match. All state is established based on the state match scores. All state members are only from teams that reside in that state. And we felt we had to explain that a little bit further because we've got teams on borders. Athletes may be from another state if they cross the border to establish a team in the other state. So the example is if you reside in Northern Illinois, but you shoot on one of the Southern Wisconsin teams, because that's the closest team to you, you would be considered, even though you live in Illinois, you'd be considered Wisconsin athlete and the Wisconsin All-State team, not an Illinois team because you weren't shooting, you're not participating on an Illinois team. But if you're a Michigan team, let's say, going to the Wisconsin state match, you can't win and be on Wisconsin's All-State. It's based on the score of the athletes from teams in that state, and it's based on the competition at your state's match. And then established in the breakdown of requirements for the match, a state match cannot be held the day after. That's reiterating that previous rule about when it has to be held by. So how it's calculated is we take the fastest athlete. So let's take, Levi Leach, who's only 2, but someday he'd probably shoot in this program. He shoots the fastest time in rimfire, iron, optic, and the fastest time at PCC. We pick whichever is the fastest time. So let's say his rimfire time is 30.03 and it's a 31 with his PCC. The fastest gun is where you end up with. And then we fill the next highest in the other disciplines. So we would go down to number 3, in this case, my example for PCC. So I hope that explains it better for everyone. John, did I see questions pop up on it?
Yes. Is there a reason why optic isn't considered for pistols for all state?
Yes, because when we originally started SPP, we didn't have optics or any of that. So we wanted to keep it to the iron disciplines since that's the mandatory gun you have to shoot. Other questions? Did you have, John? National championships, we added ultimate. Change the address again. And those are the changes we have. We will be coming out with some new drawings. I've got one of our coaches who said he would do it for me on CAD, just showing safety lines to show you what they look like. But just to explain it, according to what we got from the target companies, the safe zone for the shooter should be 10 foot, but 8 foot is enough. And that came out of using, some teams have 8-foot tents, some teams have 10-foot tents, but it has to be a minimum of 8-foot safety line. So when you look at it, from here over, it'll be 8 foot behind this. All of our tents are 10 by 10, so it'll be 10 foot. Ideally is 10 foot. They said anything up closer to that, and I've seen it when I've been in the bays taking pictures, and I get hit when I'm standing here on the side taking pictures. That safe zone helps keep people from getting hit from anything come back off of those targets. I don't think we changed anything here. I did not make this in red. I'll have to fix that right here. I'll change that to red because that is new. I changed it in the other one, but not this one. And that is everything. Are there questions we can answer for anybody? Does anybody have any questions you thought of for Zach? Because I see he's still here. If you have questions on first shots, we can answer those too. You just type in the question, John can read them here. Dan, you have your hand raised. Did you have a question? John, do you have other questions or anything from the chat?
There's stuff coming in. I'm just
Okay. Um,
there was some inconsistencies between the handbook stage dimensions for Go Fast on the online image. Has that been corrected? I was not aware of any discrepancies.
David, if you can let us know what that is, send me a message. I will look at it. I don't know what's different there unless there's an old picture up someplace.
Mag round count for ultimate.
10, just like everything else. And that rule was put in because of the states that have those lower numbers, and we figured 10 made it for most states so that, and it was before my time, but they made it so that there wouldn't be some states that had people coming in and having problems with the law because they didn't have the right things.
For the on deck athlete needing to have their gun, is there an exception for sharing a gun? For the on
They
deck
don't,
circle?
they have to have their magazines then if they're sharing the gun, correct? Someone asked about when is the gun list being updated. We do that on your request. You have to send a request to have a gun added, and then we work through the process, which I will tell you has become quite a pain with some companies because you call and talk to their tech support people and they don't know the answers on production and things like that. So it is not as easy as just saying, yeah, that gun looks good and putting it in there. But you need to request that. Has Glock provided any update pricing since the change? They have not yet added that. We are working through that with them currently.
Does ultimate have to be a pistol?
Yes. It's a pistol division. And if that's going to be a problem, I can add that wording that it needs to be a pistol. Can you shoot centerfire revolver iron in the centerfire pistol optic? I think I've already answered that one for you, Chris. We've had an athlete doing it for years. Height of target is off. Okay. David, I will look at the heights of the targets, what's written there. They are plus or minus 2 inches, so that gives a lot of variance there.
The only banned firearm is the M&P 1022, correct?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you, John.
The only banned firearm is the M&P 1022.
And it's not banned, we just can't use it unless they fix it. And that would be they need to redesign it. Someone asked, is ultimate is akin to open? Yes, but you notice we didn't use any of those type that the other sports use because when we have, we end up just like we do with the IDPA when they change their rules. Everybody thinks our rules have to match that, so that's why we came up with a different name. And credit the name to Shane Coley from Glock. It was a competition at the NRA show between all of the Glock sponsored shooters trying to come up with a name for me, and he came up with Ultimate because it's like the ultimate guns out there. So that's what we ended up with. Because John didn't win with $3 signs. And it says, you can use single or double action in it.
Is there a deadline or end time frame for shots program?
No, there's no end time. As I mentioned, our fiscal year ends on March 31st, so we're striving to hit that 25,000 mark by that day. So if you guys can get an event in before the spring, great. If not, then that will just be applied towards our next fiscal year.
I do have a question for you, Zach, on that. So the Wildcats team in Arizona already had a really big event. Does that get to count towards our number?
Sure.
Okay.
Is the random timer setting 3 seconds or less? Yes,
And
I'll answer this one.
okay.
Yes, it is between 1.1 and 2.85 seconds. So yes,
So that it falls between 1 and 3 without a chance of it being off. We shifted both ends of it on our timers. Someone says, please add that to the rules. I'm assuming that's that you can't shoot a rifle.
do you need a decocker in ultimate?
Yes, you can use, yes. We expect to see them, and someone asked the CZ Shadow 2. Yes, that's where your Shadow 2 can go. And that's why if we have negligent discharges, they just won't be able to shoot the rest of the season with it. AR class is not being added at this time. We've been test firing ammo. We found a company that has made an ammo that we can do it, but the control function on our side of trying to make sure that only that ammo is used on our targets is way more work for our staff than the amount of entries we think we're going to get in an AR class. So unfortunately, at this point, we have put the AR class on the shelf for a while. We did in Wisconsin, we did test it. I fired the first shots to, if something was going to blow up, I wanted it to happen to me. They hit the target. We were using frangible ammo, hit the target. It worked perfect. Then we let some athletes pound away at it for us, and we left really bad dimples in a single plate, which luckily GT Targets is an awesome sponsor, and they said the only way to test it was to fire it. And if you break the target, they'd get me a new one, and they did. So we are not going to do anything with that right now.
38 short Colt for ultimate.
Where are you looking?
38 short Colt for ultimate.
For ultimate? I don't know that answer. It's a 38, it's not a 380. I think it's longer than a 380 round. So I think it could be used. I will verify that. And if it is, I can add 38 short Colt to the. I don't know the answer, so we'll research that first. If it's added to the rule book, then it's okay. I'm writing it down so I remember. In revolver, 38 short Colt is fine because it just has to make a power factor. We have 2 athletes currently doing that. I think they're the Ruger sponsored athletes. I think are shooting 38 short Colt. AR pistols, are they allowed in it? It's the AR pistol's not going to shoot the right round.
Ultimate Division hammer back like 1911s.
Hammer can be back because it's going to have to be for the single action guns.
Oh, 9mm rifles, what they're
9mm AR pistol. I would say no at this point because I don't really see those as pistols. And I think we're gonna have an issue with the amount of power coming out of those, even in a 9. I would say no, you can't use an AR pistol in our program anywhere. And I can add that says no AR pistols. At this point, I'm gonna say no AR pistols in Ultimate. I will add that. .32 Super, no, it's not listed. Any other questions? I think, did we get them all, John? I'm looking at the web chat, but there is another place they could put them here.
Yeah, I'm looking at both.
Okay.
Does Ultimate Gun have to be on approved gun list?
No, the approved gun list is only for iron centerfire. Stock service. Yeah, that would absolutely take all of our time to try to find every gun and to try to do it. No, it's only in the stock service because it's that stock service requirement showing that it has to have so many in production and all it has to fit in the box and all of that.
For the over 18 athlete forms, there already is a form in existence that does take out the parent and guardian signature. That's the form we'll be sending to them when you reach out.
Yeah, actually the form did you pull one that does that now? Because the form otherwise had the parent, but the parent doesn't have to sign it if they're an adult. There was only one form originally.
I believe the line is gone now.
Okay. I didn't think it was, but you're the IT guy, so you would know.
When is the rule book going to be available?
As soon as I make these changes and check on it tomorrow, I will post it online. I won't post it. I will send it to our marketing person who will post it.
Ultimate is indeed still low ready.
I didn't hear you.
Ultimate Division will start at low ready.
John's sitting like 20 feet away from me, but I'm getting an echo through my thing, so I still can't hear him. Something about Ultimate?
We're good. I answered the question.
Oh, okay, thank you.
What about the Beretta collab?
The Beretta collab will be, I've reached out to everybody that was on the list and I've placed an order for those guns, but there's been another delay and they actually called me last week to let me know that they're not releasing it until January after SHOT Show. So they'll be released at SHOT Show. They were going to be released earlier because they sent it out to their big distributors to let them get it into their system, and one of them leaked it. So if you go online, you can actually see pictures and things that aren't supposed to be out there because once they're online, you can't get them off. But the gun will not be available, and ours is the first order being processed. So everybody that I reached out to on our list that said they wanted a gun and it said yes, they would order them. Those guns have already been orders placed for them. And at this point, I believe we're getting them all. Is the last thing they told us is we're under number. They felt comfortable with sending us all of the ones we requested. And then we're also part of our sponsorship is guns from this year's sponsorship. This last year's sponsorship will be coming once they're released. So we'll also be getting some through that.
FRT type triggers. Are there any limits or restrictions? I'm guessing for Ultimate.
For Ultimate, no. And I'll tell you why, we talked about it. But if I put a rule in there and say that it's a certain trigger pound, everyone's going to think that that's an advantage and try to get it to that trigger pound, which would probably make it much worse than if I just leave it alone. we have some very, very light trigger pulls on rimfire guns right now and that I know of. But the kids that are doing it are talented enough and they're not having a problem with it and they're not getting negligent discharges. So unless there becomes a problem that I have to add one, I'm not going to add one. But let's be realistic. These are young athletes, so safety is our number one priority. So any parent or anyone that is trying to take it down to nothing, let's use our heads here and keep it safe.
Uh, how can we get on that list? I'm guessing they're talking about the Beretta list.
How can we get on what list? The Beretta list?
Yep.
Send me an email and I'll see if I can add more guns to our list if you want it. Send me an email and I'll call you with your phone number so I can call you and go through the prices. For anybody that ordered them, previously, it comes with 2 magazines. You will need obviously more if you're going to use it for competition. If you've already ordered one, you can save me having to make phone calls to everybody that was on that list. If you've already ordered it and you want more magazines, please let me know. They will be available. And I wish I would have the email up because I could tell you what the price was. It wasn't overly expensive. It's standard pricing for magazines. And for anybody who doesn't get on the list and doesn't get a gun, I'll let you know that our national fundraising banquets that we do around the country, we've got one I'm leaving for tomorrow in Texas. Once those guns come, those guns that we had shipped as part of our sponsorship, those Beretta guns, will end up on those banquets. Let everybody also know that Wayne, our uh, national director of our Scholastic Clay Target program, who actually holds our FFL for SSSF right now, has just started listing. You'll be getting an email about an online uh, holiday, Black Friday, whatever you want to call it, pre-holiday online banquet with guns. I think he told me there was like 46 guns that he pulled that will be on that, as well as other great items. And that money goes to support our programs, and also a portion of it goes to the Forever Fund to make sure that shooting sports are here forever. So please, once you get that email, go on, register, and bid early and often for the online fundraising banquet. And if there's a banquet in your area, Wisconsin has two. Texas, there's one coming up. Ohio, Iowa, currently, we're looking if there's other places that we could host them. But we've got to make it fit into all of our staff time. But those are great items to show up, great events to go to because you're supporting Scholastic Shooting Sports Foundation in both our programs when you go to those banquets. And there's a lot of great items because our sponsors are very generous and we turn their product into money. And that's one of the ways we do it is at our banquets. So great way to find some great items. Unfortunately, there's also often fire sales. You get some really good deals on some items at the banquets. I wish they would go for more, but we're working on that. But great events to attend. Yeah, it usually includes dinner, and actually they all include a dinner. So it's a great event to go to. Somebody asked if there's a coach that signed up and was not contacted. I left voicemail messages for everybody that was on there, and I did have a couple people not call me back. So they may have not responded to my call, maybe didn't recognize the number or whatever, or didn't listen to it. But if there's somebody who's looking at that Beretta gun, have them contact me and I will check the list and verify. But there are some people who never got back to me on that list. And it was a rush thing when we were trying to do it because Beretta thought they were going to release the guns in 2 weeks, and our order had to be in before everybody else because otherwise it was first come in, first come, first serve. So we were concerned we weren't going to get our guns, even though we helped design them. And Wayne's on the call because he's an SASP coach, and he said, yes, 46 guns, maybe more. He's at 46 right now for the online. Any other questions? if there are not any other questions, thanks everybody for coming. We appreciate it. John and I need to go skin out and butcher a deer. So thanks, everybody.